here on the homestead today. We're just gonna go take a look at my upcoming project, the wood shop. Now you might be asking yourself, how do you not have a wood shop yet? Cheese? Well, you know, some things take a back seat, and it's awful bright today, so you'll have to excuse the squinting. But here she is, my quaint little wood shop. Currently a garage, so let's open it up and see what we're working with. Ta-da! Alright, so as you can see, we've got a real mess on our hands here. We've got an existing workbench already filled with stuff. We've got some trash, we've got feed for the chickens, and every other item under the sun that a family might acquire. The mower, integral part of any large lawn. But what's happening with a lot of this is probably a small storage container here on the side of the garage. We've got a lot of room to the chicken coop. As you can see, there's about 20 feet, plenty of clearance out here to move that small Rubbermaid container and try and upgrade a little bit. So let me walk you through the plans and we'll see what we have to work with. All right, here behind me, right inside the door, is my existing saw station. Got a DeWalt crosscut miter saw, absolutely wonderful. Currently sits on the DeWalt stand and worksite legs. Those are great, but what I think we're gonna do is take a bunch of this wall and get ourselves a big workspace, and the DeWalt's gonna inlay down in there. That way we'll be able to make big cuts. We won't be limited by the level and extension of the arms, which is only, I don't know, 4 to 5 feet in each direction. While a big piece, it's hard to work with anything wider than about 8 inches. Moving down the wall, we've got some existing storage. I think that's gonna come out and we'll get some shelving put up. So we have the existing storage. Most of that is gonna be moved up here into the small attic. Had my 6-year-old help me clean that out. It's amazing what kind of spaces kids can fit into and hand you all the garbage that is accumulated. We found some items dated as old as 30 years, so things get abandoned over time. Moving on to the back wall, we'll have some more storage back there. Where the bike's at, I plan to have a router table. I think at this point I'm settled on building one. The question is going to be what parts to start with. So keep an eye out. I'm going to have some of that discussion coming up in another video shortly. We've got this wall, some old cabinets from the house that I repurposed out here. They're currently filled with pool supplies and other general chemicals. Unfortunately, the pool sprung a leak this year and is not salvageable, so that's going to be coming down, freeing that space up. I think we'll probably mount those cabinets a little higher, get them all the way up to the ceiling where we've got storage right now, so I can get probably a 3-foot tall workbench under there, probably something on casters that I can wheel out into the space. And then, like I said, the existing worktop, it's in pretty bad shape. It was here when we bought the house. It's probably been here for 15 years previous to that. Same with this old kitchen counter that the previous owners had repurposed into a bit of a workbench, if you will, out here. While nice and it has served a purpose, I'd like to replace all of this because I do need some space for a tabletop drill press, the planer, and that leaves us with all of the open floor space then. At about 16 feet wide, there's quite a bit of room, so I think we're gonna have a couple more rolling cabinets, similar to what Ham is proposing. We'll be able to move these around and have some of our stationary items that we would otherwise keep under storage pulled out and used, like some of the orbital sanders, things of that nature. So we wouldn't use them all the time, but I do need to fit in, like I said, the router table back here. We'll have a long table with the built-in miter saw over here, and probably then along this wall or out here on one of the floating stands will be room to set up a drill press if we want to wheel it out. Something that might be a little tight by the cabinets if we're going to use it, but once we wheel it out, we won't have a problem. And that'll also allow us to get a centralized dust collection system, probably pulled up in the top here and piped out the back over by where the chickens are, if we can accumulate some of that sawdust there. Just an idea of why we need so much space in here. Got an old barn door that my wife and I have been saving up for a project. We've got 2 large barn beams tucked back in here. One of them is a rough sawn walnut. If I can get in here. Don't think you can see it in the video very well, but it's got a live edge on it still. Here's a good look at that. So it runs the length. So that's going to be our new mantle, but I got to get some space in here so I have the opportunity to work. One other item I forgot to mention is in the winter, it's going to get pretty cool in here. As you can see, there's no insulation. So a couple of options I have. There is an extra wood burner in the basement in the house that's currently not in use. They used to have, plumbed right there, a chimney vent. So I'm considering bringing that out. Or I also have a couple of short 4-foot long infrared heaters that are fantastic for heating surfaces. With the concrete floor in here, it'll certainly soak up some of that heat, and it would leave me the opportunity to build some of that saw table around the smoker, which I'd like to plumb in over there in place of the wood burner. As you can see, we've got our work cut out for us in here. So if you have any suggestions, you've got some examples of great space-saving multi-tool platforms that we could maybe make use of in here, don't hesitate to drop me a line either on Patreon or at our Gmail account, Ham and Cheese Show. Again, thanks for coming along, and keep your eye on the Patreon page. More to come.